Yeah, cool.
All right, boys, whenever you're ready.
Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to the YKTR Sports Show. Going to do a bit of a season review, joined by Vintage Jackson, Producer Jackson. Hey bro, what's up?
What's up, man? How you going? Sorry, I'm number 3, aren't I?
Do you like Producer Jackson or Vintage Jackson?
Vintage.
Ravalawa Jackson last week.
Yeah.
That was a good little reaction off the back of that show, didn't we?
Inside?
Yeah.
Yeah. It was
People
good.
love that show for some reason.
Because I'm always getting bagged. Someone's getting bagged. That's why they like it.
And welcome back, Skipper Scope.
It's good to be back, baby.
Hey, how's it going? How was COVID?
Yeah, it was. So I'm human. I've got I thought I was invincible. But me and Noosh got it. It's weird. Like we had different symptoms. I just had the worst part for me, and it's just like Jacko's putting it on now. Just a bit sensitive to light. I had a bad migraine, bro, for like 2 days. Like as I was messaging you guys, I went off the radar for a couple of days because just even I'd pretty much just go on my phone to let you know that I had COVID and I wasn't coming in, and I'd got it like so. Noosh got it. She had her first vaccine shot on the Thursday, like 2.5 weeks ago. And then she started feeling a bit crook on Saturday or Sunday so we just thought it was that. And then on Monday she was in a bit of a bad way, and then I started to feel bad on Tuesday. And then that's when, because I messaged you on Sunday, I said, oh, Noosh is feeling a bit weird, so I'm just going to stay away from you guys. And then sure enough, like on Tuesday we got it, and it was rough for a couple of days there. So
it's a weird one, eh? It's weird. Yeah. It feels weird. Like it doesn't feel like the flu, but I don't know. I can't really remember.
Like I haven't had a migraine before, so like I had a bad 48 hours where I was just like, this is the pits, and it threw my body clock out because of the sensitivity that I had to light. I was trying to sleep throughout the day because the light was fucking doing my head in, and then I was up all night. So I had an after effect of that for about a week. Nooshi had she had cold sweats. She had a bit of an aches and pain. She didn't get the migraine though. And then hers was probably not as harsh, but it was for a little bit longer, like 3 or 4 days. And then after that, it was just we had to bunk up for 2 weeks, and then different to you again. Like I don't know if it's now because there are so many cases. Like we didn't really get checked in on at all, if all. Like we got checked in a couple of times, once a week, and then it was
that would have been nice.
Yeah,
that pissed me off because I didn't even have COVID, and they checked on me twice a day, every day for 2 weeks.
Look, what I was thinking was there's so many cases now that it must just they must be understaffed. They're overwhelmed. So I think
the boys would be rats ass by now too, eh? All the coppers and that.
Fucking
yeah,
it's slap in the face and having to do that.
Well, one of the coppers called up and he's like, "Oh, is the building facing your street?" And when we're like, "Oh no," and then he's like, all right, you're all good.
Are you home?
Yeah,
cool.
They must. Cause
I had one guy, he was asking, "Hey, bro," and I was like, "Hey, what's up?" And he goes, "Oh, what's it like?" Like he just had a normal conversation with me, bro. It was weird. But hey, glad to see you recovered, back running and stuff now, feeling all right, or a little bit dusty, or what?
Just the times are down, so I'd sort of known you were telling me that you had some after effects from it, and then I'd obviously not doing anything for 2 weeks, so. The idea, when I'd had my first run, we got cleared yesterday that we were allowed to get back out and get amongst it. So had my first run yesterday. Obviously the times were down, but I was just happy to complete it. I just want to get my fittest about it. Like I feel like some people trying to rush it and get back to like get on the piss straight away and then just like
they try and deny that they've had it and just try and keep rolling back in. I don't think it works like that.
I just want to get healthy again. So it's good to get in the water. It was good to get out of the apartment. I come in here in the office and like there was nothing I had to do yesterday, but I just wanted to sit in the office and just be around the boys and
just loiter.
Yeah, I was just hanging around yesterday.
All right, so I've got a few topics here, Jackson. Oh, sorry guys, as always brought to you in the BSC or BodyScience Content. Still doing that?
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
shout out to the boys from BSC.
Go find it at Coles.
Yeah, go find it at Coles. What do we got here? Some protein bars.
Clean vegan protein.
Geordie's supposed to be sorting the YKTR discount code this week.
Geordie.
And this is grouse for me too while I was in lockdown because I wasn't able to eat too much. I was having heaps of like the protein powders in the smoothie.
How's the discount code going?
Yeah, good. I'm just waiting for her to email me back. She's got to set up a landing page for us first though.
How long does that take?
It's because they're on the long weekend and stuff, so it's probably going to be done today or tomorrow.
All right, cool. Grateful. Thank you, Geordie.
Thanks, Geordie. Get back to it, bro.
All right, let's go, Jacko.
All right, this is obviously our first show, not only having Scope back, but our first show since the GF. So we'll do a bit of GF reaction. Scope.
Yep.
Obviously, you had nothing else to do, so you watched the game.
I was watching. that's a one positive out of it. I was watching heaps of footy. It was good that the finals footy was on, and then the NFL. But with the NRL Grand Final, it was like a refreshing final series for me as well, in the sense that there were so many records that were broken throughout the year with points being scored. And I'm a little bit old school. We've talked about it a bit before on other shows. I like a good defensive battle, and even going back a couple of weeks ago to the 8-6 battle between Penrith and Parramatta, I enjoyed that game. And then with this one, it was built up to be a real defensive battle, and it sort of lived up to the hype, and there was a lot of desperation in the game. I really enjoyed it.
You won a bit of money too, Jacko, didn't you?
Yeah, 850 the best.
Ooh,
I had Burton first try into the unders, under 38.5.
Yeah, that's nice. Yeah. Obviously, getting Burton straight away is...
Was that
any time or first?
First. First. I think it was $16 or something like that.
That's unders. I would have thought it would have been a little bit more than that.
18 maybe? I'll double check, yeah.
Because that's the edge you want to do. That's like, once it come through, that's the edge you want to be attacking.
Yeah.
So,
bro, I was buckled. I don't really I remember watching it, but I wasn't watching it like how I normally watch football. Yeah. More just there for the big moments and the excited part. So yeah, sorry guys, I was buckled. I can't give you a man review, but I obviously love Penrith winning it. Love to see that development of the guys all the way through. I was thinking about Nathan and that before. Like, Ivan used to throw these costume parties at the start of every year. Like, it was called the coaches party or whatever. I used to rock up, and Nate used to be walking around carrying around the drinks and shit. So it's crazy to see it, bro. Like what they talked about when we were there, and just to see it sort of come to fruition, it's been cool, and got a pretty good chance to build I was thinking about this the other day. I think they're going to have to almost do like the Manly style to keep all the boys together. Yeah, where some of them might have to take a back pay every couple of years to keep the boys together. Do you reckon they're about that, or? Yeah, most clubs in that position have to. Like, once they get to, like, even Melbourne have been trying to juggle that for years as well, but. They can play that card. It's a little bit. They've got Ivan's got that one crucial card that probably coaches haven't had in the past, and that's his son. His son's the best player in the comp. His son's the best player. He's well liked, loved within the team, and then all his best mates are sort of the core group that you need to keep together. Jerome, So when it comes to bargaining down the road, having Nathan in the back pocket to go speak to Jerome and
they basically, the only players that I can see that they have off contract in 2022 is guys like Tavita, who's obviously leaving, Naden, who's leaving. Everyone else for them is essentially locked up through, some of them through to, like Fisher Harris, through to 2026.
I've seen whispers there like Charlie Staines and that might be leaving as well. So that's like, but that's when you collateral damage. You can let Staines go.
Oh, of course, Like he's signed through 2023 as well.
Is he? But I think a few people are trying to jag him up now. Yeah. So, and they're letting players like Dane Laurie and that go, and they're turning out to be West Tigers' best players, bro. So I think Melbourne different, where they have to develop and get people from Q Cup, where Penrith got the nursery, don't they? Yeah, if Ivan plays this right, and he seems like a smart dude, and he's developed his players, like he's developing these players as well. Like Penrith have always had this catchment of like really good talent, and for whatever reason, I think it's a big part of it's been the system that they set up out there,
that was the Gus.
Gus's thing.
Yeah. He tried to do that back home too, but he just obviously couldn't do it with the Warriors because he wasn't there. But
even with Paddy's in that, like the high schools, they win that. They roll into 20s, like 18s, they win that. 20s, they win that. They're just so used to winning.
I think at a glance, their roster management is the best in the comp in terms of having not only key players locked up through long contracts, but they have their whole squad. Like guys like Moses Leota are locked up till 2024. Yeah, but they're in terms of a premiership window, they're very much still in it.
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, big time.
Yeah, so it's going to be a good little couple of years for the boys. I reckon they'll probably they've been in 2 grand finals. If they can jag 3 out of the 5, that'd be huge, bro. Huge.
I reckon, and the thing with Penrith too, they're going to play with so much more, so much more carefree next year as well, because they've actually won one. If they'd lost this grand final to South, the hangover from that would have been way worse than the Melbourne one, because no one really expected them to beat Melbourne. Like, Melbourne were good, but if they'd lost to the Rabbitohs after losing, like it ended up being their second one that they lost in a row, man, that hangover going into to year 3 with the same group would have been awful. So
they're still going to get a hangover anyway. You look at teams like the Roosters, who've always just played like finals football. I don't know where Melbourne seem to get away with it, but like say the Roosters, like all the boys get head knocks and injuries, and it's sort of just like they're just playing high intensity all the time because everyone gets up to play the Roosters. Yeah. So I think this year is going to be good for the Roosters, but it's going to be interesting how they balance. They're young enough and they're talented enough to do it, but I think might even go into load management, like.
They're going to have to look at it because they're going to be playing a lot of Origin games together.
100%.
So Brian, like 100% Brian Toto, Jerome Luai, Nathan Cleary and Isaiah Yeo, 100%. Yeah. Like they're a lock. So they lose Capewell who played Origin. He's going up to Brizzy.
Liam Martin.
Liam Martin.
Just rolls straight
Liam Martin, he's a gun, but he's not for me a lock every year. Like, Victor Radley has a good year. You can see him coming in, players
Crichton,
like this.
Yeah.
So
Crichton.
But like the other four, like they're entrenched in it now. Crichton's going to be thereabouts. It'd be interesting to see how they replace and what sort of less about what Burton does at the Bulldogs and what because he was unreal this year, man.
I think he's going to have a struggle when he goes to the Bulldogs. I'm just trying to think of someone that's.
I'm talking about it from Penrith's perspective. Like they're losing Naden and Burton. I imagine they've got some guys coming through, but I think Burton's performance this year, as good as he was still like underrated in a way. Like how he was able to fill. That was the sort of one spot last year where Naden was pretty much played the whole year, and then they had to bring in Tyrone May in the final, and it was like that
you need a strike centre now. You definitely have to have a strike centre.
I think that's why I think losing a guy like Staines would be massive, because I think they simply moved Staines to the wing, Crichton back to centre, and they've got their strike centre.
There you go.
Yeah, Momorowski's got about to
he's
resign.
Locked up through 2022. So
he's good. You need those types of guys. Though.
Yeah, he's going to be their guy
bang for buck.
Like, bang for buck. Like you'll get him for a fairly good price.
He'll never rarely play a bad game. He might play like 2 bad games out of fucking 50. Like, you know what I mean? He's just that type of player. Do you reckon that's picking up through the noise?
Yeah.
No, it's okay. It's not too bad.
We'll just run it through audio.
Stairway to heaven. Yeah, we've got to run it through. Scope, you did watch the game because you weren't buckled. Thoughts on the game itself? What kind of stood out to you?
First of all, like Naif's kicking game, obviously, which has been talked about heaps.
Yeah.
Like where he was landing, everyone was talking about how good Penrith were defensively. Like where Naif was putting him on a dime, I think he had maybe 5 or 6 repeat sets of all the Penrith did as a whole, and I think Jerome
had 3 in the first 20 or something.
Yeah, but like those, the classy thing about those kicks were they weren't actually really kicks that were put in goals, and then they tackled him in goals. Like he was putting him a metre out.
Tafe had to jump anyway because he's short.
Yeah, and
the lands carried over,
and they were carrying him over. So, Cam Smith talked about it throughout the coverage, and it's like he brought it up a couple of times almost to make a point about like Souths just aren't getting any kick pressure on him, and I know for a fact that was a big part of what they did to
Nath
last year, and to take Nath out of the game, I knew they wanted to attack Viliami kick-out and Brian Toto on their carry. So whenever kick-out was in good ball, they attacked him, and then Brian Toto come out of yardage, and then with Nath's kicking game, they wanted to put Nath under a whole heap of pressure, and like Nath wasn't getting up off the ground, so therefore he was feeling comfortable and he was just putting him wherever he wanted. It was just a clinic. And then on the flip side, Cody Walker, like to be able to step up in those moments the way that he did.
That was the sickest try.
Yeah, that was unreal. That was just like do that.
The Palmer Doom was on Nath.
It was on Nath, yeah.
Got him off balance too when you're running that. Gave him that little baby stiff arm.
Who did Micah Sevo? Oh, Blake Ashford. Micah Sevo sent him into the fucking second row.
That's the worst feeling getting.
So that's what repetitions do. Like it doesn't matter the moment. They've played that sort of shape and done it so well for so long. Even in the biggest moments, those sorts of plays stand up. And obviously, he throws the pick. But like one point I wanted to talk about was Crichton, man. Like if Crichton doesn't make that play, everyone was talking about how, like obviously Gags looked like he was half open. Nice little short ball to Gags, and then Gags could have tipped it on or made a break. Obviously, this is hindsight looking at it. But for Crichton to make that play at that moment is another thing that just hasn't been talked about enough for me.
Just good things always seem to happen around him, eh?
He's a footy player, man. What's up in there?
Sorry. What was that?
You just hit the computer.
Sorry,
Yeah.
carry on about Crichton.
Yeah, big moments, bro. And he seems to, like, I remember like his first try, he just rolled straight on, and like, I don't know, things always seem to happen around him. I think Jackson's spot on with the strike centre thing.
Yeah. Yeah, like you talked about it a little bit before with Manly, and I probably won't put them, obviously, because they're still young, they're not at that level, but a lot of them are just natural instinctual footy players, man. And that play in particular from Crichton, it's easier to say it now. He took the pick, he took it to the house, and it changed the game. But like that took a lot of balls, man. Because if he misses it, and they said it in the coverage as well, Alex Johnson's going the other way with Gags, who had a full set of steam. He was coming up the inside of him, a full head of steam. Is that right? Am I saying that right?
Yeah. Full head of steam.
And Alex, so yeah, that could have been. And Souths were building towards that too. Like they were starting to get on top. If they had scored that try, they obviously end up going and scoring another try. They had all the momentum. Like they were coming. They withheld like this barrage of Naif's kicking game and felt all the pressure and defended it. Like Cam Murray, 53 tackles, no misses.
He's the man, bro. He's fucking so cool.
Like they did everything they could to win that game. And Cody Walker, for me, like this year, I've seen him miss that play twice. And unfortunately, one of them was in the grand final. But
Naif threw that last year too.
Yeah, exactly. So
they threw that ball last year. So
you got
to bounce back from it.
Fucking oath. And to be able to throw like still, even though they've done it all year, to have the confidence to throw that ball, it didn't come off, and it potentially lost in the grand final. But
got to throw him, bro.
Yeah, you got to throw him. Fuck. And
unless he's in there, unless he's throwing.
And the best thing is, he didn't go into his shell, and they got an opportunity fucking 5 minutes later, and he put one on for Johnson. So it says a lot about his character for me.
Yeah, 100%. What about outside the 80 minutes? What does it mean for? Like, it's never been cooler to be from Western Sydney, is it?
Yeah, we've
you've
been on a roll.
always denied it till the last 18 months, haven't you?
We've been on a roll ever since I started doing my thing, going to Manly, and the boys have jumped on the back of it. Tai Tuivasa and Tyson Pedro and all these boys as well.
But yeah, you got the UFC fighters. You go into the entertainment industry with 1-4 and all the boys out there. And then you've got the fucking best side in the NRL repping it as well.
Yeah,
and from an area like Mount Druitt too.
Hanging out with the All Blacks boys too.
That's cool. That's cool. So I think that there's that nice little balance of cross culture because like UFC, rap, and footy in that area. That's all there is.
Well, you know what there's always been. It's like the boys. There's always been good characters out there. Like you sort of grow up. Like we're all pretty similar in the way. Everyone's sort of knockabout. Like we're working class, and that's appealing to seeing people come from that side, that part of town, and where like not much is expected. And if you can make something of yourself, everyone's sort of like, oh, Grouse, that's my
he's
boy.
One of us. Yeah,
that's my boy. So that's the main thing that's appealing. But yeah, it's a good little streak that we're on at the minute.
Penrith back to back.
It's going to be tough. I like a few teams that. The one team, your team stands out to me.
Roosters.
Both of our teams. I think Manly are only going to get better, and if they can still, for me, Nas, like little Nasi Fainu, if they can figure out somehow to get him back, I think they're.
I think he's a chance. He's
a red hot chance. The understanding was that he was a sniff at the end of this year, but obviously that didn't come to fruition. But yeah, he's back.
I think he said if once my shit's done, he'll come on and talk about what actually happened because he loves YKTR sports.
He's a good lad. I think he was supposed to have it just before COVID hit, like his court case, and then it got extended. So they get him back. Roosters get fucking a whole heap of people back.
Did they get the cap back into next year for guys like Jakey Friend, Boy Cordner, retired players? How does that work?
We probably will. No one nicking that.
So
they got too much pull, bro.
Yeah, they're going to have some cap.
I don't think the Roosters have signed anyone.
No, they haven't signed anyone big, but I reckon they've got some. I'm telling you, man.
What do you got?
No. This is, and I don't know anything about it. They're waiting to pull the trigger on one of those nines from Melbourne if it doesn't happen for me.
You reckon?
That's their big
why else are they sitting on cash, man?
Yeah, they're smooth operators. They know they've got a team as is.
Yeah,
like
they can compete.
Their team as is can win the comp, in my opinion. Like
Kerry,
with the progression, Sammy Walker comes back after a season. Kiri comes back. I've got obviously massive raps on Joseph Sawali.
Joey
Manu
back.
comes back into that team.
Kerry's back.
Yeah.
Walker's got a year under him.
So they'll
Teddy's not bad.
Yeah, Teddy, obviously. So they'll get some nice little pickups in the off-season, like guys that probably in the past, guys like Dale Copley and stuff like that, where they're not big names, but they're just like solid first graders. They'll come in and do a job. And then if someone becomes available, and it's like in the past, they've fucking hit Sonny Bill Williams in the off-season in like November. Like they've done shit like that before, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And people go, oh, how are they able to do that? Because they don't just go and spend money willy-nilly as well. They're smart about the way that they've probably got to start looking at upgrading, probably Sam Walker and Victor Radley.
I think he's already been upgraded.
Okay.
I think there's a few indiscretions with Radley. They can sort of hold off for a bit.
Yeah.
You know how they sort of blackmail you for a bit?
Yeah, the inflictor, yeah.
Yeah, so he's had a few indiscretions. So they're like, oh, if you just get this right, we'll bump you up later. But he'll be on a fair wicket anyway, I reckon.
Yeah, he'd be on good money.
All right. Well,
Tupanua and the boys as well.
Tupanua, Crichton, their team's fucking still grouse, man.
That's my team, bro. That's my
what's
team.
his name? Lindsay Collins comes back.
Yeah, I forgot about him.
He's a gun.
They had that many injuries. Like we're probably missing 5 or 6 guys as well.
We're still forgetting a couple.
I'm still going Penrith back to back. But anyway, before we move off the GF, Ren Diggity, obviously your boy, didn't quite end as we would have liked. A couple of big moments. What you kind of make of his grand final?
Yeah, I can't remember it. Honestly, I was buckled, eh? But yeah, I obviously know about the kick and stuff as well. So obviously would love to see him go on a high. But I'm excited. I remember Joey said to Joey said to Percy, if you can go up to Newcastle and get a comp up there, like you'll be a god forever up there. And I think I don't think he's going to win a comp in the next 2-3 years because the teams are just too good. But if he can get back them into the 8 at the Bronx, man, you need the Bronx to be going well. Eh? I like when Bronx are good.
The team isn't as bad as you think.
Nah, no way.
That's been the big thing about the Broncos.
But he's steady, bro. He's going to kick you into games.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So he's the perfect player for them at this point in time. Like they've got a lot of talent. That's the frustrating thing about the Broncos, because when you look at them, when you look at the Bulldogs and what are some other teams? Dragons, Tigers, they've been thereabouts. You look at them and they're like...
They have a crack, but they've got no talent.
Yeah, the talent just hasn't been there. With the Broncos, Payne Haas, Tony Staggs has obviously been injured. Jordan Ricky's coming through and showing flashes like...
That Selwyn Cobbo looks...
Selwyn Cobbo looks nice,
looks
bro.
mad,
I watched him
bro.
in the Queensland Cup too.
You would have loved to have seen him hang on to Xavier Coates, because that's kind of a big X factor too. But yeah, Cobbo looks
he just rolled down to Melbourne.
Yeah,
later.
so
it's probably going to be all right.
Yeah, with Ren coming up there just to control that team and do what in the grand. Ren was solid, man. Ren was solid in the.
He always is, bro.
That groin, obviously, he probably won't come out and say it because he's a tough little angry. He's not a guy with excuses.
Yeah.
But I dare say that groin, it would have been in a bad way for him not to kick in the semi-final, prelim final, with regards to yardage and kicking goals. It must have been, and that doesn't go away in a week. Like he played on a bad groin in the final and did a good job, and it probably it might even cost him on that kick. If he goes into it, because he's so clutch. I'll give him that kick 9 times out of 10 and he makes it, and it was a tough situation, and you almost look like.
But a lot of the Penrith boys are holding on by a thread as well.
Yeah, that's what I said. They had momentum, man. Souths were if they could have got it over.
Even the 2-point field
Still
goal
Brown
when it fell,
didn't have the juice on it.
Didn't have the juice. The length was, the line was there, and he dropped it 2 meters, 3 meters short. If he's fully fit and healthy,
100%, he knocks him over, man, and that'll hurt him for a long time.
Yeah.
Watching the stuff pre-game about him, it's sad to see him moving on, man. For me, I know there's excitement from
a Bronx standpoint.
It's cool to see people move on as well. Like we're in that trend. We love that stuff in the NBA where teams go from team to team. But when you watch that build up, you're just like, man, some guys should just never leave, eh? You know what I mean?
Yeah, we would have said that about Benji and Robbie Farah and shit back in the day. So who knows?
You know what's the weirdest part about all that is the narrative that they moved him on because they didn't want to commit long term to him.
Yeah, that's
they're trying to re-up and sign Cody Walker, and he's the same. Is Cody Walker older? Same age, roughly.
Yeah,
he's about 30.
Doesn't make sense to me, but
yeah, that'll be hard to hear as well, eh?
Yeah.
Imagine if Cody Walker just leaves, then fucks the whole plan.
Imagine he went to Bronx.
Goes to the Bronx. So this is what happened with back in my day with Ches and Foz, right? So
they both were leaving.
So everyone ripped in the Ches, and he'll tell you this, but they let Ches go to the Titans, and they wanted to put all their chips into Fozzie. And then once Ches signed at the Titans, they said, "Oh, we've got all this money for you, like for Foz to stay." And Foz goes, "No, I'm still leaving." and then like everyone gets in the chairs, but then Manly come back and like, "Fuck, now we don't have a half. Like we didn't get either of them." So they come back to Ches, and Ches is like, "Show me the money, baby."
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Well played.
Yeah, fucking oath. So it'll be a crack up if like I can't see him doing it because the team's still so like solid. It's different circumstances, but who knows?
Is he from up there, Cody Walker?
No, he's
from Casino. Random
New South Wales,
country town. So like it's just New South Wales, just on the border. He's up there from up. But apparently, like he's been a gun forever. Just sort of just started late.
And his negotiations for him too, like on the back of what he did. Some players gamble on themselves and go all the way through. Cody Walker's top 3 players in the competition right now. Like it's Turbo, Nath and him, and like for a sustained period, like he's probably been the most consistent.
6.
Or probably Nath. Probably Nath has been the most consistent over the last 2 or 3 years. And then it's Cody for me. Guy who's like just produced. Even despite like players that have been missing. So, geez, he's in a good position. He's got himself in that fucking $1 million range. Easy.
He's worth a mil. He's fucking worth a mil. Easy.
100%. It's just before we move off these teams because we want to get to the Melbourne Storm off-field drama. I know, Scope, you got a few things to say about your boys. But off-field celebrations in a good way. Penrith boys carrying on a treat.
Love it.
That's what you miss, eh? That was good.
Yeah, I remember, like, I never really missed football until I watched Melbourne win it last year. And just the way that they're carrying on. And, like, because we never really seen that all-access style concept
like the social media age has probably played into that.
Yeah, but, like, a lot of them go straight behind doors straight away. You might see them on the
balcony.
Yeah, on the balcony, giving a quick wave, ducking back inside for a cheeky. But, like, it was the first time where, like, we've seen Cheese and Munster and all those boys carry on. Now we got to see these other guys. And then off the back of that, guys like Bloke in the Bar and Roasty just start to do characters. And obviously Kikau, Fisher Harris, rocking around with glasses, shirts on, very Dylan Napa style. Like, I don't know, it's just cool to see. It's cool to see behind that thing, like, 'cause we'll never get to experience it. So,
enjoy the celebration, Skip?
Yeah, like...
It's weird. Do you know what the weird thing is? Like, all the families and stuff are there, so they have to do, like, these family nights and shit as well. That sucks.
Yeah, that's a part of it too, like when you celebrate.
I know, that'd be great. Sorry. That'd be great.
I was... I lost the grand final and I still partied. Like, it's just I don't know. Let the boys play. Like, it's different now, obviously, with all the social media that's around. But I'd be doing, especially being up there, like you talk about being from Western Sydney, proud to be from Western Sydney, but there's not much doing.
Go to the Leagues Club.
The boys are like fucking living their best lives up on the Gold Coast, and good on them. So, you know, you work fucking 11 months of the year to get to that position, and they've done it for 2 years in a row now. And they had heartbreak last year, so that one would have felt even that much more special. So
I've loves a bear too. He's the first cunt to grab a bear. Yeah. So fucking nothing better when your coach loves a bear.
Yeah, it's so relieving too. Like when you get to when the coach pulls out a beer and he just starts to relax, and you just go, yeah, here we go. I'll fucking tuck myself right in.
He used to organise all our team drinks.
Grouse.
Lose 3 games in a row, or boys go down to the pub and get pissed.
Yeah,
grateful.
Bounce back season.
Bounce back Warriors, old school.
All right, brother. Let's talk a little bit of Storm Scope. We'll start with you here. Cheese, Prez. What's the other bloke's name?
Chris Lewis.
Chris Lewis got themselves into a bit of strife. The Storm's overall handling of it has probably come under a bit of criticism of late. What have you made of the whole sitch, man?
Yeah,
talk to me, Skip.
The boys have made a mistake. Obviously, for me, their mistake is their crew that they've let hang out with them. Like you've got to get a feel for the room. And I'm not saying like I don't. It hasn't been reported, so we don't know what the substance is. But it's fucking off season. The boys are letting their hair down. You've just got to be smarter now. Like in this day and age too, with like who you let hang around you, because you've got to be fucking like rock solid. And not only because of the incident, like fucking you know what boys will be boys and getting up to whether it be fucking we've been to fucking parties where like people have got nude and shit, and like you've got to worry about like who else is in the room. You just got to you got to know like who your gang is. But the way that the Storm should have just got on the front foot straight away with it.
They handled it kiddies, eh? Like,
Yeah.
I remember when Jesse Bromwich got done and remember in KP after the Anzac test. Bro, next day, Storm statement out, boom, put it to bed.
Yeah, this dragged on for way too long.
Yeah, same as Reece Walsh's one. Like, oh, he's fucked up, he's made a mistake, cool. Like, yeah, he's going to get punished. But everyone, like, this, like, it's finished.
Even the presentation of the video looked kiddies. Like,
Kiddies.
That,
It was 720p.
yeah, the CEO was sitting there and the boys are in the background, whereas with the Warriors, they look like they were together with Walshy. Like they had him there. He was obviously apologetic. He got on the front foot the next day. Melbourne let it drag on for 5 days and let like
It was un-Melbourne like.
Yeah,
That's what it felt like. It felt like something like it should have been the other way around. Usually in the Warriors, usually drag shit out like that.
Yeah, 100. You kind of expect more from Melbourne. I think the issue, the whole issue is, and Scope, you spoke about this before, so I'm going to throw it back to you, but they got to go one or two ways with it, and they haven't. They've fallen flat in the middle. So there's either criminal charges, like in Walshy's case, and you deal with it in that sense.
So Walshy got a criminal charge?
Walshy got arrested.
Yeah,
so Walshy's a criminal charge. He fronts the media straight away, so he's emotional, so you see that remorse. He's not reading a statement. Obviously, you could tell by the language he used when he said, and I did some. Like, that's not a cop statement. That's an 18-year-old trying to figure shit out. Yeah. Whereas Melbourne, there's no criminal charges. There's no drug testing outside the competition.
At the end of the day, they haven't done anything wrong.
No, they've brought the game into disrepute. It's the only thing I can see as a clear breach. And they've brought the hammer down sanction-wise. They've got the Prez checking into rehab, but also in the same breath saying they don't know what it was.
Yeah.
It's the whole handling of it has been fucking kidding.
Yeah, I think that's just, there's a mad fallback thing. They use like game and disrepute so they can say normally, remember at the start of the year when they got in that fight?
Yeah.
Like they're getting jumped by 4 blokes and they're like, oh, you brought the game and disrepute, like 20K.
It's a fallback in a bad sense of that, but it can also be good in the way these boys, in reality, that should be the only sanction that they get slapped on them.
Yeah.
It should be exactly.
Yeah, but
because there's nothing criminal.
Then what happens? Like as a club, you got to appeal to like sponsors and fans. Like there's so many stakeholders within it.
Right.
Obviously, like I reckon the boys would be like, yeah, cool, let's just look after the boys. But when you got to please all these other people as well, that's when it starts. That's when they start to sit around the table and go, all right, let's present it in this way. Let's keep our stake because they've just given away free membership for a year. Like you know what I mean. Next year, so I think
when you get all blow
like once you got boardrooms and hierarchies and stuff like that, and you get a bunch of different people with different opinions, that's what you get. That's the result that you get.
Yeah, when you look at for what it was, it's like not that fucking in this day and age, it's not that fucking crazy. But like you said, you've got to go back and say, well, people are going. There are fucking nerds out there and go, well, yeah, no, that shit doesn't happen. And then like there are other people that are going, yeah, it does. It's normal. Like it happens in society. And then you've got to find some middle ground for both people that are involved, for the nerds and for the people that realise that this shit is just like apart from footy, like a lot of kids are getting up to this shit. So they come up with like a half-assed in-between thing and then people will forget about it in a week. Like it'll be done now. But this is the thing.
Well, it should have been forgotten about already.
Exactly. It should have been done by now. But because the Storm dragged it out for long, it's like something that should have been like Reece Walsh's. Like people weren't even talking about really Reece Walsh until the Melbourne thing. And then everyone was like, oh, here we go. We've got like an NRL drug problem again. And then Walshy's been like cycled into the Melbourne one. But like really, if that was just a separate solo incident, we probably would have like no one even been talking about Walshy anymore. But oh well.
Yeah. But if you think about it, say if all 4 of us sit around here and we try and come up with the best idea, I think in situations like that, and I've been watching a bit of Dana White lately, it's just he just like he'll wear it and just make a decision straight away, and whatever the consequences off the back of that, he'll wear it like that.
Yeah.
Where when you rock up and I'm just speculating on what they're doing at Melbourne, but that's what it felt like.
That's a good point. You do the Aaron Rodgers scope. You come out immediately and you just leave yourself out there for the media, answer all the questions. The boys there's nothing to hide here. Yeah. Like the where the Storm have put their foot in their mouth is they've gone, we've done a robust, thorough investigation that's lasted a week and we found out nothing. Yeah. It's fucking... Yeah,
I dare say the boys would have want to get on the front foot a lot earlier.
They would have wanted to pull a Reece Walsh, 100%.
Because they've all got sponsorship and all that sort of stuff. Like even away from the game, like I'd imagine the boys would have lost some sponsors because of it, and like they would have been going, like their sponsors would have been going, what's going on? Like we want to know, and it just dragged on way longer than what it should have.
One thing that happens with rugby league, there's always been drama around it, and I think moving forward there always will. There always will be. It's just part of our identity, isn't it?
Yeah. We're ratbacks. Like, we're all working. Well, we come from working class backgrounds, like we said.
Makes it interesting.
Yeah.
Speaking of making it interesting off the field, we have a new favourite athlete here at YKTR Sports, Bailey Smith.
I never heard of him until today.
He might be having the greatest off season of all time, Skip.
So he's gone from losing
a GF into the Perth Bender, the WA Bender, and he's still going. Going strong at the moment.
And posting, which is
elite. He's blown up on TikTok as like internationally, as a bit of just the Aussie glamour with the mullet.
Sick.
And he's proper playing into it too. He got in a bit of trouble, or at least the article started swirling on Tuesday saying Bailey Smith, wild bender in Perth. And they stitched together all the Instagram stories. And he simply posted a topless photo and just said, "I'm an angel."
He's a bit like the Scope taking it on. You know, when the Scope stayed grateful despite what was being written about him. AFL players know how to party, man.
AFLs know how to party, and their organisation look after them.
Yeah.
Like, when they get in trouble, if some of the Cam Smith stuff and that happen, bro, slap on the wrist, look after the boys, hair, just get under their bus, boys.
Yeah, I've had a couple of little shindigs with some of the boys over the years, and mate, they can go for fucking like
you think.
Yeah, they drink a bit of straight vodka.
I mean, like, you know, we drink beers and shit.
Yeah,
like, they're just straight vodka because they have to run in that.
Yeah, because they've got to run so far. But they can do a number on themselves in for days. Like, obviously,
he's diced up too. The cunt.
It was good. It was good to see the OG actually.
Bro.
Recently, it was good to see the OG. Benny Cousins looked healthy. Did you see him at the awards? He was at the awards. The Brownlow. He was back at the Brownlow. Looked healthy and mate, like, they're so extreme the way that they train. So when they let their hair down, and Billy Smith's got plenty of it, geez, I want to get on the end of it. It looks like a good time.
We don't want to put anything out in the universe that's not happening, but I think it's pretty common knowledge they're trying to do a 257 link up. As soon as he's able to get over there.
Oh yeah,
great. A little podcast with those boys. So it might be the best looking podcast of all time. Respectfully to YKTR Sports Show.
The Burley edition. The 2Ks, they're loving it up there. I was talking to KP the other day, actually, and he goes, "Fuck, I love it up here.
No restrictions and shit."
Yeah, just
fuck. They do a good job, man. Those boys, the way that they interact and the way that they still go out and have a good
like setting up a tent and shit. Like shaking everyone's hands.
They're so cool, man. Like and the way that because they they like having a bit of fun and shit too. They just seem to do it the right way. Those boys.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
I ain't getting in trouble.
We're big Bailey Smith fans. Yeah. All right, that is the YKTR Sports Show, guys.
We done?
We done, baby.
All right, guys. See you later. Thanks.